Welcome back to another video. I'm going to be doing a load in the WMB today. I've got it loaded up already. Got 18mm of surf powder and some very unstoppables in already. I'm going to do Cotton Eco 60 I think today. Or 50, I don't know. Yeah, I'll do 50 today. I did 60 the other day. See the difference within 4 minutes. So, you guys thought that today was a normal video. Well, I think you're mistaken. Today, I'm going to be doing a life story type of video thing. I don't really know where to go with it. It's all going to come off my chest. I've got a piece of paper, I've got a pen to write down timestamps to put in the comments so you guys can just watch what you will. I've put this on in the background because I do also need to get my darks done. I was going to use this, but I did a load of this last night and I thought it would be easier to be using this in the background and sit in front of this one, or slightly over, because then obviously next to me I've got, well, next to me to the left I've got the WMA and the dryer, so there we go. Right. Where should we start? Well, I'll introduce myself first. So this is the guy behind the camera that you always hear just speaking shit, basically, you know. Everybody knows how I can just speak for ages and ages. Like that. So, my name's Michael. I was born in April of 2010 and I've been in the community, well, this will be the 6th year now. So, that's cool. I'm kind of doing this as an early 6-year special because I've reached a good point in my channel to do something like this rather than just, oh, new machine reveal, same old really. Because obviously I'm not the only person that's done a video or will be doing a video like this. 2 people before me have. So yeah, let's get to it. So I'm going to write down introducing myself at the 1 minute mark because that's when I started this. So, yeah, I was born in April of 2010 and I was born prematurely. I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy, so I am disabled, but it's not affected me as bad as a lot of other people because you don't get a lot of people being able to move machines or talk or walk. A lot of things that I can do that the doctor said I wouldn't be able to do, so that's a plus. Yeah, and then I think when I was about 5 or 6, I was diagnosed with autism. My parents always knew that I had it, because you can see traits or how you start acting further into your development. So obviously how, if you compare me to my brother was a lot different. So there's that. My birth was a little bit traumatic. I stopped breathing a couple times. So I'm just glad that I'm alive. Well, most of the time. So one thing with my autism that I struggle with is eye contact. You see, I'm just looking around the room. I'm able to listen, talk, and just do things that other people would be able to do without having to look at somebody, without having to hold eye contact, basically. So, for as long as I can remember, I've always been into washers. The first machines I remember is this machine behind me. Absolutely loving this beast. And this machine next to me. Obviously these aren't the exact ones I had when I was little. This one was integrated, 1600 RPM. So I am greatly sorry to I am, because I could be doing this in front of the white one, but sadly that died a while ago now. So this is the next best thing. Plus I like how a lot of it now in here is silver or graphite. I only need to sort the dryer out, that's the only bugbear. At least we've got a matching set. So yeah, there's pictures of me. I fell asleep in front of the machines when I was little, just on piles of washing, because I just like the sound. I like looking at them, you know, send me to sleep nice and relaxing. Some of you might be aware that before any of these machines, we had a Hotpoint. I'm not sure what the model actually was. It wasn't a HVF or HVL 344, something along the lines of that, because it was an inverter one, but like everything else was the same. So that's cool, I guess. So that was my parents' machine. I think it was my dad's, because obviously when my mum and dad bought this house, they moved out of my mum's old one, but my mum decided to rent her old house out, and that is the house that had, again, some of you will be aware, the WMA30, but I've never been able to recover. I have recorded a video of it once before it broke, and I've never been able to recover it. I do have a picture of it somewhere, but again, I can't find that. So yeah, I might let the cat in a minute. She's been sat there for a couple minutes now. I've got the side door open to let some air in, and for the cats as well. So then in 2012 we got the kitchen done. The kitchen that we all know and love, the kitchen that showed a lot more than the granddad's place, because that's got the utility room. I don't really show, well, you can kind of see the garden from here, kind of. But the most known and well-loved garden is the granddad's, so it's kind of opposite, so two different places. That's one thing that people get confused about. A lot of my machines are either here or at my granddad's. So people are like, oh, where, like, how many fucking houses do you have? I've only got one, this one, but my granddad's very kind and just like, oh yeah, you can have the garden type, well, not the full garden, but it's better than nothing. So yeah, in 2012 we got the kitchen done, and that's when we had the first integrated WMI. That was a 100% perforated drum with the old side panels but the new programming. And the little, where it says here, A++ for the energy rating, here it would have said A plus minus something, or A plus AB, I think, something like that. And then that died because the people that did the draining for where the machine was underneath the sink didn't do a very good job, and the pump died. My parents did replace it, because obviously at this point I wouldn't have been old enough to fix it myself. They did replace it, but being an integrated, those early ones went very mad, and the older it got, the more unsensitive it got. And I remember it did vaguely, I was watching it on spin, but it had done an unbalanced, it was unbalanced. And then I just remember loads of, like, just water pouring out from wherever it was. I don't even know, because it wasn't coming, well, it might have come from the bottom of the machine, or it might come from the sink. Because this was before we realised, oh, it's the plumbing that's the issue. So that maybe lasted, oh, three 3 years, maybe four. And then we got a 7kg 1500 RPM, so the second gen programming, the Aquawave drum, and the new logo, because that was 2015. And we had that up until, oh no, so that one also lasted the second one lasted 3 years, because the pump also broke on that. And my parents said, right, we'll just get a new one, because obviously we only got another 6 months or whatever out of the first one. And then we realised, well, actually, that's a bit weird. Two machines, same sort of age, same failure. We had the plumbing fixed, and then we had the famous Blomberg. That was the one I used to film a lot when I started posting them, like more than I did when I started. Some of you will remember that. But that got used and abused. That machine got me through COVID, and I think as one of my ways to cope through COVID, because I despised just being, part of me looking back, I loved kind of not going to school, because I've never got on with school. I'll get onto that in a minute. So part of me is like, oh, it wasn't too bad, but then because of the age I was, didn't really, like, you know, I was like, oh no, what's happening, you know, it was a whole world thing. That machine got me through COVID. I used to be running it fucking every single day, multiple times a day sometimes. And I just want to say, if any of my family watch this, love to you guys, because my parents had to deal with that, and the machine had to deal with that. So we had that from 2018 up until 2022. So that lasted us a good 4 years, and it would have done at least 1,000 cycles, I've got to say, before obviously the cycle counts became a thing. And then we had the WTIK. You know, I will just add introduction / machine history. So then we had the WTIK. That lasted just over a year. It was used a fair bit, but I did keep that one clean. I used to run a drum clean almost every month, no fail. Well, I say no fail. Almost every month, we'll just leave it at that. But a common failure on a lot of those Beckos, I say common, you've got to be lucky really, because it's the same with the current B range of tumble dryers. The top board fails, where just the dial contacts or just the whole board just mashes, and it doesn't really know what to do. So it used to like turn it to synthetics, wanting a synthetics, and it used to say like spin and drain, or you wanted the cottons, but then the cottons was actually the on and off position, and then if you turned it to the actual on and off position, you used to get like dark hair. But obviously if you wanted a cotton 60, that wouldn't have worked out. So at that moment in time, it was like, oh, we've only had the machine a year, so we're just spending like fucking hundreds and hundreds on machines. And I've got to put my hand up and say, I probably didn't help. If I wasn't as into washers as I was, or I just like, you know, I just let my parents do everything in that respect, like a lot of other people, then I reckon we might even still have the Blomberg in the kitchen. This might have still happened, perhaps, this whole laundry room, but I'm on about just the machines in the kitchen. Maybe we would have still had that. So then obviously at that point I had the Aquatech, and I bought that in the summer holidays of 2023. It's just like a present to myself, halfway through high school. Saved up some money, wanted just a machine. I bought it from Thompson's. Some of you will know Thompson's if you know where I got that machine from, if you've looked up on Google. I bought it refurbished, but it wasn't refurbished. obviously when we got rid of it, I found out that, I'm going to move my legs, I'm getting pins and needles. Found out that drum light was missing. The second PCB that controlled the whole Aquatec thing, that was all loose. I knew that from the start. Well, pretty much. Because I originally thought something was seriously wrong with it, and I was like, oh, whatever. So, we had that in the kitchen from September 2023 up until September 2025. So that survived the kitchen for 2 years, but I'm gonna say it probably only had about a year of proper use in the kitchen. There was a period of time where it was just sat because I didn't want it to be used. It was too loud. My parents didn't want to hear me saying, oh, you know, just, yeah, broken record about it basically. So then obviously after that we had, or now have, the Bush WMSAB 914EB. Now obviously you could have got those brand new up until about a year ago, or just over. That was my neighbour's. I'm not going to go into that, that's personal details, that's not to be disclosed. But she was my neighbour, she was moving house, and she couldn't take everything with her, or she could have tried, but it would have been pretty difficult because of her circumstances. So we bought not just the washing machine from her, because, well, we paid 200 for it. Same sort of price as I paid for the Aquatec, but she was a really nice lady, and we just wanted to help her out, so, you know, it wasn't really too bad. Plus we knew where the machine was coming from. She was a very cleaning lady. I've only had to give it one clean, and that was just at the end of the year, so I knew that it had a descale or whatever for it going into this year. And it's a Bush, I know, very controversial views on Bushes, Vestals, Logics, because obviously you have media ones as well. It's served us okay at the moment, no concrete weight failures. Yeah, it makes a bit of an odd noise from the drum, but when I was asking her about the machine, she said that it's always made that from new, so it might just be a slight defect, or just some of those models made that noise. Yes, I know the programming on those could be improved, but for my parents' needs, it will do. I do use it occasionally, but normally I just stick it on cotton or outdoor. I do like outdoor. I don't know why they named it outdoor, because 40-degree main wash, 1200 RPM spin, 2 rinses. It's the synthetic cycle basically, and then the duvet cycle is just the mixed cycle, but because it's larger capacity than the other ones, they named it duvet, because you could try and wash a duvet in it. Right, so let's finish off the washer history and move on to my grandparents' history. So before I was born, they had a Indesit Evolution, mechanical timer, all of those older ones. Before they got bought, no, before Hopwood and Indesit became a thing. I'm not sure on the couple of machines that they had before that, but I know that when my nan was originally given the vintage tumble dryer that we still have, they were using a twin tub. So if you count that as one of the washing machines, or like washing appliances that dryer has outlived, that's one to the list. I do know that they did briefly have a Zanussi, maybe just for about 2 years. It wasn't for that long at all, because they didn't like it. It was very loud, just on spin naturally. Zanussis are just loud. And then because obviously they didn't have it for that long and they didn't want to get my granddad's a bit of a cheapskate, so obviously there was reasons to why they decided to replace it. Being my granddad being my granddad, there would have been a decent reason. So at this time, or at the time, Thompson's Electrical had their own shop in my local town before it all just moved to their factory. You can still go in and look at their stock before you decide if you want to buy one of their appliances. They bought a Hotpoint Ultima in this colour. Now I'm not sure actually if it was a WT960 or if it was a WF860, but obviously in graphite, which would have made it more rare, because I do vaguely remember being able to have 1600 RPM on fast wash. Now I can remember vaguely what my nan used to use. So she used to use fast wash 60 for 60 because she's never really liked super long cycles, and then she used to use cotton 40 and acrylics. I don't know if she ever used some silks or hand wash. I know she used to use wool sometimes. So she did kind of use it properly, you know, for an at the time middle-aged sort of woman. She knew her things. She kept it clean. It lasted a good few years. So they bought it, I think, around 2007, around there. Because again, my granddad did show me one time a while ago, we don't know where it's gone, the receipt for it, and they had it up to 2015. So at the, well, I'll explain this. The reason why it could have lasted a bit longer, but even then, because at the time these weren't actually seen as that reliable, but God were we wrong, compared to what we have now. The reason why it could have lasted longer was because that also went through hell. Not this, but like the Hotpoint that my nan had. It had obviously my nan and granddad using it, me using it. Well, my nan obviously let me use it because I wasn't really old enough to. You get the gist. But when my parents bought this house and work was being done on it, because I was a baby and my brother was going to be born, it wasn't really a suitable environment to be. I mean, it would have been if they didn't have any kids. But basically, they lived. My mum lived with her parents, so it's not my dad's side. My dad's side's the Irish family. So it would have had been used almost multiple times a day, maybe for a period of time, because you know all these baby clothes and all this extra bits and bobs to be washed, because you know how babies are messy. And then they bought the Candy Grando Vita on, I can't remember what date specifically, sometime in January of 2015. To replace the Hotpoint. Now, they weren't viewing to have this as a long-term machine because it was very slim, and I don't think they realised at the time. What I think they thought was, oh, nice, you know, simple to use machine. Because my nan was able to use this, but you know, they didn't want anything, you know, no Wi-Fi or whatever. They'd have been okay with something like this actually, but yeah. They had that from 2015 up until 2021, so that lasted 6 years. And bearing in mind, for loads like sheets or big towels, my nan liked to separate them into 2 loads because of the drum size. So that lasted a while, considering how much it would have had to be used. And then we got the very well known Beko WTK 94121W. It's currently about half an hour up the road. I decided, I do kind of regret it, but now I've got this and my lovely Hotpoints, I decided on selling it. So yeah, there's that. I Also, don't regret it, because the lady I sold it to was in need. Like, she needed a machine, and I was selling it for what, 130, maybe even 140 I had it at, and it did sell for that. But considering that that machine was spotless for all its life, I took care of it, all of that stuff. You know, basically 50% discount, because at the time you could still have bought them. This was just before they got discontinued, believe it or not, because I did have a small backlog of videos that I posted after I sold it. So yeah, there's that. What else is there? Oh yeah, this WF541 that I've talked about before, that was my aunt's, but she was moving house, and she had no need for it. I think it's because when she moved, before the Logic, she had a Melee, and she decided obviously to keep the Melee over the Hotpoint because they, at the time, were really good quality. This was a proper one, like, oh, I can't remember the model of it, but it was one of the tanks. They were known to last for ages. So my nan did actually use that for a period of time. When she used to, I think there was a period of time where she swapped between the Ultima and the 541, because I remember she then, like, they swapped. So if you know the layout of the utility, they now obviously have like this old microwave in there, vintage one, and the air fryer and some storage against that one wall by the sink. That wasn't there at the time. They used to have the machine there, and then they plumbed the other one in. That lasted about 6 months because it was sat for a while and there was a board issue with it. Sometimes it would lock and work, sometimes it wouldn't lock and just try and start a cycle, and then just throw up an error. Sometimes it would get halfway through a cycle. Yeah, it was very temperamental. It was a good machine when it actually worked, because when my aunt gave it to my nan, they were using that first, I think, after they had the Zanussi, and then they got the graphite one, because obviously they were liking the machine, I presume, but they weren't sure if my aunt would have needed it back at the time. So there's that machine. What else is there? Nothing really much to touch up on. Currently at the rental houses we've got a Zanussi wash dryer and that Beko WTG 7kg 1600. So I've covered my kitchen washer history, the granddads, and then obviously you've got the Irish family. My Irish nan did have a Hotpoint WMA 10 or FEW 10. I vaguely remember that. I never recorded it though, because at this time obviously I wasn't old enough to be recording that stuff. My parents would have done a couple of times if I asked them. Yeah, and then you've got the other machines sorted about, like my aunt's Logic, my other aunt's Hoover, but then there's no really history upon those. I will just touch up actually. I'm not going to go through every single machine, but since I started, my first machine was in 2021, which nobody will know about, so I'm not even going to talk about it, because it would be like totally new information. And then obviously we had the Samsung after that. After the Samsung, it all kicked off. So I worked out the other day, if you include all of these, including tumble dryers actually, so that's adding about another 5, and all the other ones that I've had at my granddad's before that haven't come here, I will have had roughly 40 odd appliances, like tumble dryers and washing machines in total. Now for me that's a lot. So yeah, that's the washer history done. Started at that time. Let me just check what are we up to now, and I'll move on to the next subject. 29:42. So I will put the next timestamp down for 30 minutes in. So we will talk, I suppose, a little bit about myself more. I introduced myself, but yeah. So let me just write this down. 30 minutes. So, like I said, my name's Michael. I said when I was born, so that's how old I am. I said I've got autism, what I was diagnosed with. I'm not really going to touch up on that because I don't like talking about it, but at least you're now aware that that's what I have. Because I've got to admit, and I'm not saying this to offend anybody in the community, not a lot of us are normal. We all are our own normal, but I don't know if there is anyone in the community that's well known that like doesn't have autism or ADHD or anything like that, which isn't a bad thing actually. It makes us all unique because we all get affected in our own ways. So where should we start here? Obviously I've been into washes my whole life, said that. School, should we move on to school? Let's do school. I've never liked school. I've dealt with it and tolerated it. Primary school, I'm not even going to talk about that. Basically, I would have, at that age when I started, just rather have stayed at home. And then towards the end, when COVID hit, so I was in year 5, I just became non-existent, almost. My attendance dropped considerably. It was easier for me at that point just to stay at home rather than risking it, because I was on the high risk list, if you guys all remember that whole deal about all that, because my dad was also on the high risk list, but I'm not going to go into much of family stuff. That's again, you know, not needing to be talking about really. I don't know if they'll appreciate that, and I'm deciding to do this, so it's about me, you know, the guy behind the camera, not anything else. Well, I'll talk about a couple other things, but so then obviously high school. I'm in my last year of high school. I've got exams coming up, and when I started high school, I was like one of the tallest in the year. I hit puberty at an early age, well earlier than normal, which can happen. It isn't the most uncommon thing. But then obviously now I'm not the tallest. Well, not obviously, because you won't know that. But I'm not the tallest. So, yeah, but I'm not really bothered by that. I don't really like high school either. I'm just looking forward to getting these exams over and done with now at this point. A couple of weeks. Just over, no, it's either just over or just under a dozen weeks left, which will go quick if I don't keep thinking about, pardon me, don't keep thinking about it. I suppose it will just go. Sorry, I've got wind. Yeah, I got bullied recently, and there's been multiple times where I've got bullied in high school, and then I got bullied in primary school. I would say, and I don't want to say this about myself, but it's kind of true, I can be an easy target, but when it comes to a lot of things, I will not stand for it. I'm not going to say what this was about, or the person's name, or anything like that, but or the timeline or anything, but I'm gonna just say things got so bad at one stage, I had to call the police and they got involved, and it's sort of settled down since then. But I still don't really like going to school. I just have to, don't I? We all do, because I'm not the only person that doesn't like school. So when I go to college, I'm going to try and get a qualification in plumbing. I've applied for a plumbing course so I can get myself into the trades, because you know plumbing is quite the right type of job for me. I think I'm gonna quite like it. Very hands-on job. I've always liked practical more than academic. I'm not a very academic person. I would definitely benefit more from like the actions rather than taking it in. I can remember certain things quite well, but when it comes to school, that's not on my not even top 10, maybe top 3 list to remember. Um, so yeah, but I know that I won't be the only person to have that view on school, especially with somebody with an interest like this and autism. We have better things to think about or remember or do. Now, I will say that I'm getting slightly better at doing more work for school and revision for these exams coming up, because I've actually got my second set of mocks next week at the time of filming this, and then we're just getting prepared and ready and whatnot for exams, like the proper ones, the real ones. So yeah. Um yeah, I don't really know what else there is to say about myself. If I if I think about anything else, I will jot it down and then put in the description. One thing I will just touch on, my Irish nan, because I don't ever film it often, is the one with the whirlpool. Just to clear that up. Right, let's move on to something else then, because I think I've covered things. Well, that was mainly just talking about me in school. Oh, I will talk about one thing actually. I'm not big on socialising. Well, some people will say different, but I'm on about, like you see these people that, going out partying every weekend or whatever, or almost every weekend. I can't do that. I just don't see the appeal in it. I like my home comfort. I do have friends. The friends I have, I like. We get on with each other. They understand me. But I'm not one. Well, I suppose I am. I'm not big on just talking to new people all the time. I'm happy with my surrounding people. Um, I will just add actually. There we go. So, on the topic of friendships, now I'm going to leave one certain person till last, because I think a lot of you will want to know the story behind this. Let's start with Archie, shall we? Archie. Good old Archie. I love him to bits. I've known him for 14 years. He's actually been my saviour a lot of times. I think if he wasn't in my life would be a lot different. I don't think the next door would be the same house if he wasn't living in it. Because, to clear up, he lives next door to me, the other side of this wall, the other side of the fence. That's a luxury in life. I'm so blessed and happy for that. So to clear this up, the Hotpoint WM-JLD 943, that's his machine. But again, a lot of you will know that, but some of you won't. Yeah, so me and him are like so tight, or like we've got to the stage of knowing each other in our lives now where it's just like, it's whatever. When we see each other, it's just like, oh, are you free? Do you want to do something? Yeah. You don't have to like pre-plan everything, which I love about our friendship. And it's like no social battery. We can literally just sit and do nothing together, and it'll be fine. So I'm glad that I've got him in my life. That I can say that he is my best friend. Then you have my friends within the community. Now, some of you want to stay anonymous. That's fine. I will just say about the person first that wants to stay anonymous. You know who you are. You are so strong, and I just want to thank you for all the help that you have given me over the last couple of years. and I know that you might not be going through the best time at the moment, but it will improve, don't worry. You've got good people around you, and you know, yeah, I just want to say that, like, I think within the community, if you were one of the people I didn't know, or you weren't in the community yourself, again, I think it would be different. It would just feel wrong. You know, when you get that feeling that something's missing, it would be that. So I appreciate you. Thank you. Should we move on to? Ah, here's the story. Should we move on to Appliance Guy? I'm not. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you're prepared for this. If you are currently watching this, Jack, got to this point, you've made my time in the community such a laugh. Me and Jack, we've never seen, well, not always, we've not always seen eye to eye. But I think that's also because of our differences, or whatever, however you want to say it, clashing. He's a lovely guy. So yeah, he was one of the first people after Harrison, which I'll get on to, that I met in the community. And we got on really, really well. I don't know if you want me to mention this, so I'll not say what, but I knew him when he knew a certain somebody in the community. So that tells you how long ago this was. Yeah, so currently he's doing well himself. We're doing well in terms of, like, you know, getting along with each other. And again, like I just said about the other person who wants to stay anonymous, if it wasn't for basically all of you guys that I know, like the people that I'm mentioning, who have said that it's okay, by the way, just before you scream at me, my time in the community, the whole community, it just wouldn't be the same. It would be different. It would just feel wrong. So thank you, Jack, for all the reality checks, all the, like, tough times, all the nice times, all the laughs, everything. Thank you. And then we get on to the well-known duo, Josh and Morgan. Morgan isn't very active on the community anymore, but he's still around. He's still well. He's good. Don't really know what to say about him. That sounds bad, but I don't mean it in that way. Again, I got to know him through Jack, through a certain someone, actually. Oops. And he's also a nice lad. And I just want to point out, I'm happy with what I've got here, but some other people in the community, wow. How you can just keep that many machines? I'm jealous. I mean, like, so I'm lucky with what I've got, or happy, or whatever. Josh, he has helped me a lot as well with the WMA. Actually, he's helped me configure it. He helped me repair it through Cool. I did it myself, but he helped me. He guided me. So I'm very happy with that. Yeah, Josh, thank you very much for your help as well. I'm very appreciative of all the help that people have given me through the years, and all the people that I've got to know, all the people that tolerate me, I'll say that. Yeah, thank you, all of you. Yeah, now I'll get on to a special somebody, two special somebodies actually. Adam, Washerboy 2006. I love you. Like, this guy, he is super nice. You've got to know him to know what he's like, because he does go through tough times himself. but he is the nicest, kindest soul in the community, I think. Well, one of, actually. I can't say he's the one because I can name so many other people. He's special to me because I'm not disclosing his whole location or whatever, but I'm gonna say he lives in Ireland some bit where, because every time recently, or the last couple of times I've gone over to see my family, I let them know, and then we want to try and meet up at some point in the future, and he's perfectly happy with that. I can't wait, and it's just so nice to know, in my opinion, to know somebody that is at my second home. Now, I will just mention this actually about myself. Yeah, it's still on the same whole thing. I wasn't actually born in Ireland, but there's just something about Ireland that is just a part of me. When you get that feeling. I just love the place. I love that I've got family over there. I love my family over there. It's a beautiful country in my opinion, and I would highly recommend for any of you watching this current point to go over there and just visit it. It is a really nice place. Really nice scenery, really nice places to go. Literally, you could be there for ages and you wouldn't get bored. So I cannot wait for the summer holidays this year because it's my cousin's sweet 16 in July, and I promised him that I'd make it over there for it. Because normally, obviously now this year I'm finishing slightly early after exams, but normally we go over as a family, so we don't normally manage to get there for my cousin's birthday, but this year I'm going to try. Yeah, so that is one part of my life that I absolutely love. There is parts of my life that I love that are about my life, but then also there's parts that I don't like about my life, like struggling with school. But should we get on to the most special? I don't mean it like that actually. My trio, the person that is well known, the person that I'm known for, however you want to say it, and that is Harrison Joshua Thomas. I don't even know where to start. Harrison, should I start with the story of how we met? I think we will. Back in around October, November of 2022, I was looking for a machine to go with or replace the Samsung, and I kid you not, there was a listing for a brushed Siemens, and I'm not disclosing my location or his location, but it was 10-15 minutes down the road from mine, and I was looking at the listing and I realised, hold on a damn minute, I recognise this garden. Lo and behold, it was Harris. I found his channel and it was the same garden, and I was like, no way. So I contacted him, asked him if the washing machine was still available, and he said yes. And I said, do you mind if I pop down and just have a look at it before I decide on buying it or not? Just so I had an idea of what I was getting, or if any of his other stock. And he said yes. And then I think he was the one that asked me after that, are you somebody in the community? Because he recognised my name, he recognised my Facebook account. And it's just all history from there. He was super pumped. He was so prized and happy that I actually turned up, that happened to him. And I've just got to admit, that's literally how we met. I think if it wasn't for that, we'd be strangers. Well, maybe not, but I don't know if I'd have known him for that much or that long. But then the interesting part, soon after, we were talking about like how he recognised me and I recognised him. And we discovered that we've known each other since COVID, or just after, late 2020, early 2021. I don't want to touch on it, but remember all the drama a couple of years ago, and how he was one of those people, but obviously he changed, and now he's a totally different guy. He's well loved, well known. That's how I knew him. We were in a group chat together, and then lo and behold, a year later, that happened, and now it's all history. Like, that is another part of my life that I'm so thankful for. He has done so much for me, and I am so thankful. He has he found this for me. Thank you so much. A lot of my machines, and I'm going to hold up my hand and say a lot of my machines have come from him. He got this for me because I did actually say to him about a week before that he found this. I said, I would love another WMB, but one in silver this time. You know, because just I wanted one in silver rather than white. And he found this 2014 model, so South Clean Works, Aquave drum and everything. And he asked me, did I still want one? I said yes, and he went out and got it for me. Thank you. Now, I'm currently on loan until I pay the machine off, because obviously I'm paying him back. I don't do him like that. We don't do each other like that. We have done a lot of good favours for each other, but this isn't one of them. He did this for me, so obviously he deserves to be paid back. Yeah, so honestly, me and him, we have a lifelong friendship. I think he will be in my life for my life, like my whole life now. It's one of those. Same with Archie. The amount of times we've talked about, you know, oh, where we're going to be in 10 years from now. Ah, it's funny. So yeah, that's a big part of my life that I love. One other thing I will mention before we move on to the next thing. I'm a swimmer, and that's another part of my life that I absolutely love. Now, one of my other good friends, who I'm not going to name, just in case he doesn't want to be, but he's not even well known within everybody I know in the community. He also swims at the club. He goes to the same school as me. Honestly, again, if it wasn't for him, for the friends I have, my life wouldn't be the same. So thank you to all of the people that I've talked about, mentioned, everything. Thank you. You don't know how much you are helping, and or a lot of the time, you know. So should we move on to the next thing? I don't know what the next thing will be, but I will write down the next timestamp because I've finished on that subject. 54 minutes. Okay. Right. I've just thought of another thing I could have mentioned there, but I'll mention it later on, I think. Let's move on to what I think of the community. It's a toxic place, and you're either on the side of nobody really wants you in the community, and you know, there could be reasons for that, like there is some people in the community that just don't deserve to be in the community, You're either in the middle, where sometimes you get yourself involved in drama and other times you can be nice and civil, which means people have mixed opinions on you. Or, like a lot of us, you're mature enough, everything like that, to be on the good side. I'm on the good side. I am so thankful for that. I've got to know some really good people. I'm glad that I'm not on the whole drama side or whatever you want to call it. So if you're watching this video, you've got a big interest like in the washers, like a lot of us, and you're thinking of joining the community, one word of advice: just be mature, and then you should be grand, hopefully. As long as you don't get yourself involved in any of the stupidity, basically. Now, one thing I will touch on are these fucking brand wars. Why do we have them? Just as a whole community. If somebody likes a brand, they like a brand. You can have an opinion on it, but don't force them to get another brand if they don't want to, or say how it's shit, even though they have different opinions on it. Like, you know, each of us have our own experiences with every brand. Like, for example, I'll hold my hand up and say, and I won't be the only person to say this, older Beckos are better than the newer ones. That is one thing that I will point out. But things like Hoover and Candy, some people don't like them. But then for a budget brand, even just a couple of years ago, before they got bought out by Hire, they were actually pretty decent if you took care of them and used them properly. Ask people, including myself in the community, and they will say, yeah, like genuinely, they can be decent. But you know, if you care about the noise, try and find an inverter one, because they're quieter. Obviously, the brush ones can be quite loud. One thing I will say about the Vestals, they're not the best budget machines, but there is definitely something worse. Actually, I'll try and think of brand in the time in this video. Their programming can be better, but again, if they get the job done, they get the job done. Like, for my parents, it gets the job done. No issues, no unnecessary noises, no fussing about. If it says, for example, on the colours program, 2 hours 10, after saturation and the detergent mixing, it might drop down another 10 minutes or so. So let's say it's already taken 5 minutes. Let's just say it takes 2 hours. It will take 2 hours after the starting point of like the sensing or whatever, you know, when it starts to heat. It will take 2 hours from that point. Whereas with the Aquatech, even though yes, it would have done more rinses, slightly better program like options, there's no fussing. Sometimes if you're washing a small loading machine, yes, it might take a couple of attempts to balance, but 9 times out of 10, it will go up to full speed. There's only been ever one time it limited. It didn't do 1400, I think it did 1200, but even then, that's better than just limiting the whole thing to 600 RPM. That's one thing I wish we could go back to. No fussing. That doesn't fuss. That spins a lot of things on first attempt normally. This is 50-50. This fusses if you're washing a small load. Other times it's perfectly fine. But yeah, just stop with the brand wars. I'm not the only person that said that. Just leave us all to ourselves to have our own opinion. Like, I've got this, I know, and I've got these hot points, I know, but that's what I like. And obviously I like other machines, but these are the machines I've got at the moment. And if you don't like these, I mean, I know these nice old UK hot points, a lot of people like them and want them. And I will just hold up my hand and say, actually, getting hold of these was hard fucking work. Me and Harrison, literally, it was just luck. Yes, that had to have new bearings, the WMA, because, well, the actual bearings, the front bearing was starting to go, the back bearing was fine. It was just the bearing seal that had dried up and caused the front bearing to start going. There was no play in the drum or anything. But yeah, you know, for a 24-year, oh my days, this is 24 years old now. And for a 20-year-old and a 24-year-old machine, they've done really well. So if you are looking to get one, I will just say, just keep looking and you'll find one. Occasionally you find one that is in such good condition you don't really have to do much to it. Like a friend of mine's WF860, still on original bearings, haven't had to even have the drum out at all. This has had to have the drum out because the original drum, I mean it's using the same tub, the original drum had a spider fault. Because I don't know the full timeline of the machine, but I know sort of the storyline. The previous owner's parents bought this in 2007, I want to say, around there. And I don't think they unboxed it or anything straight away. They had unboxed it, used it or whatever, and then, you know, like plumbed it in and everything. But then I think, if this is correct, they like moved into a home or something like that, and then it was just sat in store. No. Well, yeah, that part is true. He got it as one of the things that his parents gave the previous owner, but they were having kitchen renovations done. I remember it being stated in the description of the listing, and it was in storage basically from when his parents gave it to him up until COVID. Now, in that time, if the door was shut but the machine was sort of dry, ish, then obviously some mold would have formed in the seal, and he would have got, and the bearings obviously were fine. Because this is what I mean, you're still on original bearings on this one. It's just the drum that's different because the spider needs replacing. This drum was the same one that actually came from Morgan's white MT960, if you remember it. Harrison got given the machine as a whole. We used the drum in the WF860, but then the WF860 had broke, like it had seen better days. The whole cabinet was just like, yeah, we didn't want to keep putting it through. So we basically got the drum and a few other components. I think I've got the belt from the WF860 as a spare, just in case, you know, a couple other bits, but it isn't on the machine currently. To rebuild this, obviously, because of the drum. Everything else in this machine is original. So the reason why the drum is like slightly dented, I don't know if you can see from there. The reason why the drum's slightly dented, though, if you have seen, is because obviously this drum itself has seen roughly about 20 years of use from new, whereas the other drum wouldn't have seen much use, but obviously the spider had gone because it was sat in storage for so long. So I presume the more that the guy used it, the weaker the spider got, and then obviously it snapped, and then they just kept the machine, I suppose, or whatever, to try and fix it up, and they got a new one. I'm not sure how long they were using the machine for, maybe even just 6 months or a year before the spider fully snapped, because the machine really hasn't seen much use. The cabinet of it is in such good condition. The only thing I will say to the guy that sold us it, why did you say it had a broken pump? It did not have a broken pump. I mean, maybe because of all the spider bits, the pump got blocked. That's fair enough. But you could have at least told us that the drum was damaged. But anyway, it's working. No complaints. I don't want to jinx it. I hope I haven't just jinxed it. But yeah, there is that. So I've just kind of touched on machines again and sort of the community. But yeah, so I don't know what else there is to say about the community. Well, actually, I think the community, I don't know if there was a washer community before YouTube. There might have been on other apps. But Witch Washer and a couple others, like Service Slimline, they were one of the first group of people on YouTube to have started the community, and from there it's just grew and grew and grew and grew. But in the last couple of years, it could be a better place, guys. Come on, make the community good again. I say great again, but that's just a bit cringy. It's never going to be great. It was great maybe when it was made, you know, like a thing by the adults. People like me are okay in it because I'm mature, I don't get involved in drama. But all these kids, man, come on, we don't really want you in the community. And we don't want to be involved in your drama or being tagged in all these random posts all the time. We've got better things to be doing. And, you know, better things in our lives to be worrying about than some little childish dramas. So I hope that you understand my whole view on it, and I wasn't saying any of that to offend anybody. That's just my general hard-cut opinion. So, oh, okay. Oh, lovely, my whole pen just fell apart. What are we at now? The 1 hour 8, I'll say. I don't really know what else there is I could talk about. I've talked about myself. I've talked about how long I've been into washers or whatever. Oh no, there is a couple other things that I could talk about. I'll make this another timestamp. So, here's the other thing. So swimming is the sport I do. That is an interest of mine outside of washers. Another massive, massive interest of mine is cars. Not all cars, I will say. There is certain cars that I like more than others. Now, again, like I said earlier, if my family are watching this, or they're just skimming through, seeing what I'm talking about, and they get to this point, Dad, or my dad, basically, he had a lovely Mercedes CLS, the first generation. It was a 2008. It was a CLS 500, 5.5 litre, 5.5 litre, sorry, V8, not 3.8. It made 390 horsepower, and for a 2008 car, wow, that was good. For like a family kind of car, because they were like a GT car, 4 seats in total, 2 in the back, 2 at the front, but it was still, it lasted us 9 years, around there. I loved the car. I don't know if my dad realised how much I loved the car. He does now, because I always talk about them. God, I miss the car. That is like, that is the car for me. I really want my own when I can drive. When I'm older, you know, it won't cost so much to insure. He didn't get rid of it because the car had, like, the car wasn't working. It could work. A common failure on those is the air suspension can fail. The air suspension basically bad, like, you know, it doesn't rise, or if it's risen, it won't then drop, or sometimes it drops too low or rises too high. He did normally fix that, because it's not the first. That's not when he got rid of it. That wasn't the first time it happened. But it started misfiring, and he's when I asked him about it after he sold the car to get the new one. Well, he part exchanged, but he got money for it, or money off the car that he bought, something like that. He said he didn't want to keep spending money on it. And I was originally like, oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, it was a big disappointment in my eyes, but I guess everything comes to an end, nothing lasts forever. But, and I don't know if my dad knows this, I found the listing for it. The people that my dad bought the new car off, they had sold it to a guy that gets a lot of part exchange stock from the company, and the guy had his like own shop or whatever up in Wales, and I found the listing for it at the beginning of the year. Oh god, it was so nice to see it one more time, even if it wasn't in person, just a couple photos of it. And I'm so glad that it's still on the road and that it hasn't been scrapped or whatever, because my dad towards the end didn't drive it as much as he used to, but we put quite a few miles on it. 147,000 ish miles it had when my dad got rid of it. September 2025. I think it was the 9th of September 2025. That's the date I'm not going to forget. I just loved the car. I don't really know why I liked the car so much, to be honest. I just did. I do think about it sometimes, but whoever has it obviously got it because they wanted the car, they liked it. A high mileage hero like that wouldn't probably be bought by someone that doesn't know their cars. The thing that made it rarer as well, because you don't often see many 500s out on the road, they are slowly decreasing. Normally you just see the diesel ones, but it was a facelifted version. The facelifted CLS first gen came out in 2008, I think April 2008, and lasted up until the Grand Edition, which were made in 2010 before they moved on to the second generation. You don't often see facelifted 500s compared to the other 500s which are pre-facelift. And God, when I got home that day and my dad had the new car in the drive, I originally thought, oh, maybe it's a courtesy car. But this car that he's got now, at the time obviously, well, it's not the type of courtesy car that Mercedes would give him. I just had this gut feeling deep down that he sold it. And that was confirmed. The thing that irritates me the most is, I want to say maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks before it got rid of, basically, I started to think, I think he might want to sell it, or like, you know, because he used to keep all the car documents or whatever, and a few other bits in the glove box, and like all these other little trinkets of his, well, I say trinket, like little bits and bobs in the glove box. And then the car was empty for the last couple of weeks. And I was just like, no way did I know he was going to sell it without knowing he was going to sell it. The reason why I think as well, the other reason, there's multiple reasons why I think I was so disappointed, was because I'm doing photography for GCSE. That's one of the GCSEs I'm doing that I enjoy. And I was going to ask, because I like taking photos of cars. That's another. I like taking photos in general. That's another of my interests. I was going to ask him that week, because it was nice weather. The sunsets was setting at suitable times, stuff like that, for a good setting for the photos. If we could take it out and take photos of it, but I didn't, and that's one thing that really annoys me. But I will say now that actually I don't know why I'm tearing up, man. Hold on. I need to clean my glasses after this. He took my brother to go and get the new car. My brother had the last drive in it. I don't know what my reaction would have been going to the dealership to get the new car if it was me. But I just really wanted one last drive in it. But I didn't, because I wasn't at home. I got home and the car was in the drive. I just wish I was home that day. But oh well. There's other cars in the world. Nothing lasts forever. So yeah, they're my other interests really. Cars. I love taking photos, like scenery photos, car photos, anything like that. And swimming. I mean, swimming's a sport, but that can be another one of your interests. Because if you're interested in a sport and you do it competitively, then there's a reason for it. So let me just write that down. Interests. Right, let's check now what we're at. 1:19. Okay, so I don't really know how to end this off. But another thing I will talk about, because I've decided if I'm doing sort of a video about me, then oh, you're right, Florian. Yeah. I will talk about my disability then. I absolutely hate using this little machine that I have to use, but it's like this little, it sends electric signals, whatever, through these pads onto my leg, because it's my left leg that's affected. It's like a centimetre or two, that's it, shorter than the other. And when I walk, obviously you lift your heel up, and then so your heel and then your foot. I struggle to do that with the left leg, and this machine's meant to be helping me. When I do it, I don't mind it. I just don't like the idea of it. and I should do it more than I do. I haven't done it for a while. I just don't like having to put the pads on my legs and then plug it into this machine. It's just a little tiny one though. It's like pocket size. It's not a big like ventilator type thing. So that's basically what I have to do for that. And I have an appointment, a doctor's appointment every year, maybe even twice a year. And I think I might have done when I was little. I can't really remember. But yeah, other than that, I'm not on any like medication or anything. I'm mentally stable, unlike somebody that I know. That's not aimed at anyone in the community. It's aimed at somebody that somebody else. I'm just gonna leave it there. So I'll just put that's basically a bit about my disability. I could touch on it more, but I don't really know how to. One thing I will touch on though is addiction. Addiction as a topic, maybe. I wouldn't say I was addicted, but when I was getting severely targeted or bullied or however you want to name it or whatever, when I said earlier about it, I had to get the Popo involved. I obviously was not enjoying going to school at that time at all, and there were 2, maybe even 3 times where I had to stay off school. Not had to, I decided to. It was one of those things where I could actually have made my own decision, which my parents supported because of how bad it got. I made the silly decision. I wouldn't say it was a mistake because my parents have said to me before, try these things in life, you know, and I don't regret doing it, but maybe I shouldn't have done it. I started vaping, so and I would say it did help a little bit because I did used to sometimes get thoughts, if you know what those thoughts are, if you get what I mean. But this time I didn't. I'm older, I'm more mature, I've better ways of dealing with things. But I just decided to get one, see if I could get one, see what they're like, everything like that. So that's the reason why I started, and I was doing it up until like January, and then I just stopped, basically. Because at that point, so for the last almost 2 months now, I don't know how long it's been precisely. It's all settled down. I'm happy at school again. I wouldn't say happy. I'm not afraid to go to school. And there was no reason for me to keep doing it really, because towards the end, before I stopped, I was just doing it for the feeling. I did like the feeling of the buzz. But yeah, I think my parents and myself are just glad that I didn't start smoking, because I'm not saying who, because I don't know. Well, no, I don't think it would be the right thing to say this information, but one of my friends used to smoke, because he has stopped a considerable amount. He does still vape though, but I'm being quite strong-willed about it. I don't mind him doing it. It's his decision, but he's respectful about it, and I was respectful about it when I was doing it. I never did it around my parents. They would not have liked that. And yeah, I did a couple of times. I did do it in my room. Not around the house though, and normally I just went out for walks with my friend who obviously smoked and vaped at the time, smoked. and did it then, so I wasn't doing it in the house or anywhere like that. So one thing I will say about addiction as the topic, I'm not supporting it. I wouldn't say do it at all, but if you are really struggling at the moment, or you know, if you might be in the future, and it gets so bad that you have those thoughts, there are better ways to deal with it. Like I chose vaping, because you only live once, so make the most of it. Don't, how would I word this so it's YouTube safe? You know what I'm trying to say to you guys. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything that you will regret. And when it comes to that, well, yeah, I think you get my gist. But about trying it, because I did try it all before I started myself. Try these things in life, go for it, but I wouldn't say unless there is, I wouldn't say even a valid reason, unless there is a reason just generally like mine for you to be doing something like that. Don't just start because you want to, because you think it's cool, because you think it's fun, or because of peer pressure. Just because your mates do it doesn't mean that you have to do it. Because people at school, or people who I know of at school who know me, they do it, but they didn't get me to do it. I decided to do it upon myself. I didn't force anyone else to do it. I didn't force my friend to smoke. He has his own reasons to have started all of that, which is also, in my eyes, better than doing other things that you could have done or been doing. So, yeah. Just avoid stuff like that, I would say, otherwise. That's my advice. But if you are doing something like that already, but things aren't improving, even with the situation, if there might be a reason or the situation, there are places you can go for help. Samaritans, I think, is one. I will double check those, and then I'll put the number from it or for it in the description, just as one place to go for help, because there is other places, but Samaritans can be quite good, I suppose. I don't know myself, but I've heard good things about them. And we do like charity and things at school for it, you know, non-uniform days. That was a bit of a dark topic just, but I suppose I got it out to help you guys as well with that, obviously. So what are we at now? Because I might end it here. I don't really know what else I could touch on. I might put a bit else in the description maybe, if I can think of anything between now and by the time I post it. Well, I guess I need to put things in the description anyway. Right, I'll do an outro. How are we at for that? Oh, 1 hour 5 minutes. Alright. That doesn't feel like 50. Or I would say maybe about 45. Cotton Zico does slightly underheat, but it doesn't just do a fucking cold rush, which is good. 1 hour 29. I'll do 1 hour 29:30. So here is my outro, guys. So all of that I've talked about, that all came from me, obviously. It was not scripted. I wanted to do a video like this for a couple of weeks now. But there's my notes. Just writing down the timestamps for what I talked about. I think I've pretty much covered the things that I had thought about when I wanted to do this. The other reason why I wanted to do this was because after sorting my whole channel out, I've reached 1,300 videos. So I thought, well, I don't know, 1,300th upload basically. But yeah, so that's a bit about me, a bit about my life, other things about me, like my interests. I hope the other things that I've talked about have been or will be or can be helpful, whatever. And I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to me actually just not talk random. And I hope you guys have liked watching this in the background. I will get to filming full cycles of this and wash races of the two of them. I want to do like dark hair and then cotton, so I will reduce the spin to 1200 on this if I do, to make it fair. And then things like daily quick and fast wash, they're the two that I want to do first. But yeah, so honestly, me doing this today, how I've done it, it didn't even feel that bad. I mean, why would it be bad when I wanted to do it? If some of you other guys in the community may be thinking about doing something like this, just because you want to, because you want other people to kind of know you a bit more, rather than just people thinking that you know that they know you, but also without giving away loads of detail, like I think I've managed to achieve. Do it. I would recommend it, again, if you want. I'm not forcing. It's just a suggestion. So yeah, I will just say though, for the moment in time, with these exams coming up, I will upload less. Just at the moment, I'm not gonna be leaving the community, I don't think, anytime soon. I mean, I know I won't be in the community for like ever and ever, I think, but for the moment I might take a step back slightly, but I'll upload when I can, and then in the summer holidays I'll have some free time to do it, when I'm not away holidays or whatever. But then obviously afterwards I've got college for 2 years, and then I'll be off learning to drive, getting a job, and then the rest of my life's ahead of me. So I just want to say thank you guys for the last almost 6 years of fun, however you want to word it. I've enjoyed being in the community. But now I think it's time for me to step back a little bit, like Harrison has, because he is in the same situation I will be in soon. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys around, basically. Yeah, so another couple of years, and then I'll keep my channel up, but another couple of years and I might have to give it a rest. But yeah, so this is Michael Treston signing out. Thank you very much, and I will see you all later.